Hey guys, this is Tyler with Blackhat Vapor. I'm here to talk to you about the new rebuildable RDA, the Plume Veil. Now there's been a lot of people talking about it. It just came out and I'm actually really excited to build it myself. I haven't had a chance to play with it a whole lot. But a lot of people hyping it up, a lot of people saying it's going to be awesome. But I don't know so far, but it looks really nice. It's got a nice polished finish to it, a Delrin tip, which is really nice for heat. It's got a brass base and a brass liquid well. That's always nice. So I guess we'll just have to get into it and see exactly how it works. Alright guys, let's go ahead and take this thing apart and get down to the nitty gritty of everything. Removing this top piece is usually the best route to go if you want to re-drip it, just because of removing this bottom ring is kind of a pain in the butt, but you know, that's how things go. Here's your top Delrin ring. That's what allows you to control the airflow from these two top air holes right here. You can unscrew it. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, just like anything else. It's actually much easier to unscrew once you actually have a drip tip on it, so you can adjust it while on the go. But I'm going to go ahead and pull out the whole Delrin piece here just to show you the insides. This is your Delrin piece. It's not only good for adjusting the airflow, but it's also good for heat. If any of you have ever burned your lips on a hot piece of frickin' drip tip, you know what I'm talking about. There's your two air holes right in there. And this actually chooses how much airflow you want going through those holes. Now there's quite a few more air holes on this device. In case you haven't noticed, there's 3 holes here on the bottom, but there's also these 2 holes on the outside. You can close up one of those holes if you want, because you have 3 different notches in here. So if you're running a single coil or something like that, you can have it just running just 1 hole open and 1 hole closed. Now when it comes to the actual building platform itself, it's nice and wide open. It's got a good, fairly deep drip well to it. But the main thing about it is, if you notice, this positive post right here actually has 2 holes in it. Now that's really great for building, because if you want to build a higher, ohm rating, sort of like I do, especially on my variable wattage mods, you can actually run your coil from this positive post right here all the way over to this negative post, and vice versa on the other side. Or you can run it just between the closest one that's to it. That's your choice. It's going to function great either way. Now when it comes to the airflow on the bottom, these 3 holes right here are actually made for these tiny holes on the sides right here by where the negative posts are. Now these holes actually run through the bottom of the negative post and come out underneath there. Now seeing it on camera is going to be kind of difficult, but you can at least get an idea of how it functions. That allows you to get airflow from 3 different directions, which actually increases the airflow and theoretically creates a vortex inside of the device itself, which allows you to get more vapor out of it, smoother hit, that sort of thing. Now the base is completely brass, and so is the connection. It actually does great for voltage drop. I prefer copper personally, but I've heard that brass works just as well, so I'll go on what other people say. The airflow is great with those 3 air holes. Like I said, the vortex effect and everything of that nature. The screws are just standard, your standard Phillips head. It's no Allen wrench key or something weird like that, which I always like because I like simple. Now when it comes to putting together, you always want to make sure to line up one of these holes with your holes on the bottom that go through your negative posts. Now you can line it up one of 3 ways, obviously, because you have 3 choices up here and only 1 choice down here. Now that depends on where you're building your coil. If your coil is all the way over to the side right there, you want these outside holes to be right over your coil. If you're building it more towards the inside, you can move the inside holes. Just make sure that these bottom holes are perfectly lined up. I usually build towards the outside, so I'm going to take this far left hole right here and put it over that one. Now once that's in place, you can see from both sides you've got airflow going through there. Now when you're putting this top piece back on, if you've built it and dripped it and everything like that, you want to make sure to line up the outer holes on the outer ring with these little notches that are in the top piece. And if you don't do that, obviously it's just going to close up your airflow. You're going to have a bad day. Once that's lined up, creates one little nice airflow monster. Now, I suppose, let's see it built and let's see how it vapes. Okay, we're done looking at the workings and all the innards of this thing. Now let's see how it vapes. I'm using my IPv2 50-watt variable voltage mod. I actually built the actual plume veil itself with 28 gauge wire. I'm using 20 wraps on each side as a dual parallel coil. It's running about 1.4 ohms, so it should do pretty well. So let's drip this and get started. It actually should be pretty good with all the airflow around the coils themselves. Should cause a lot of vapor to be produced. I'm using Cabana Man by Scapegoat. It's actually one of our lines through Blackhat Vapor. And if you ask me, it's actually pretty freaking delicious. And you always want to make sure, line up these slots with your air holes. Otherwise, obviously, you're not going to get a whole lot of airflow with it. So, let's go. Thing puts out. I have to say the airflow on it is phenomenal. I'm going to try adjusting the actual top airflow, open it up a little bit more, and see if that changes my vaping experience at all. Wow. It's like night and day. That top flow open actually changes how the vapor comes into your mouth. It feels different. It actually, you can like feel a little vortex going in. It's insane. Well, I have to say, it gets two good thumbs up from me. I think it's freaking awesome. I'm going to keep on using it, you know. Just try it as many times as I want. But this has been Tyler from Blackhat Vapor. I'll see you guys next time. So let's see here. I'm using Scapegoat Banana Man. Banana Man.